And we have some more messages, folks. I'd like to bring on now, introduce to you Ms. Malaka Parker, the chairperson of the Democratic National Alliance in Antigua and Barbuda. Please give us your attention on the screen.
Good evening. I hope I'm being heard. I wish to accept and acknowledge the protocols as established and bring you fraternal greetings, the Grenada movement. I bring tonight a pledge of solidarity from the Democratic National Alliance in Antigua and Barbuda, which is led by the Venerable Joanne Messiah. You would have earlier heard her video greetings to you. Our party forms the third plank, the newest third party in Antigua and Barbuda. We were institutionalized a month ago. And so it is with honor and a sense of duty that I speak to you today at the historic launch of the TGM party in Grenada. We know that we share the same vision and mission for our respective peoples. And so today you say that hope is tied to the empowerment of the Grenadian people. In fact, you are saying that the empowerment of the Grenadian population is linked to the capacity of the people to see beyond what is before them, to reach for something better. And the law of history has recorded that as a people, we have quest for something better. We always seek the good life. It was only yesterday that we were enjoined as a region, and it has been mentioned several times this evening, as we celebrated our Emancipation Day. Yet, nearly 200 years after our ancestors liberated themselves from an oppressive system of subjugation, we find ourselves as a people almost held captive in a two-party political system. A two-party political system which has not served the people of the region well, which has not served the people of Grenada well. Never mind, my friends, that this was in fact the system of government, or rather the system of control left in place by us. So in a way, it is almost like the current political actors in our respective countries have become now our political overseers. There are some who may take offense to my analogy. I get that, but I will make this comparison anyway. Hardship of our people, of your people, of the people of the region, comes at a time and at the hands of people who look like you, who speak like you, and who are of you. They come from us, but they have not in fact served you well. Our post-colonial reality, yes, has seen some progress. This is easy to admit. After all, we were enslaved. We were the lesser mortals in a system of apartheid, which was so very efficient in its design. So of course, some progress is expected when you begin at the very bottom. But forgive me for wanting more. Forgive the DNA. Forgive the TGM. Forgive the people of Grenada for wanting more, for daring to demand a future that successive governments post-independence have promised us. And quite frankly, a future we deserve. And I know that similar to us in Antigua and Barbuda, the seat of political power in Grenada has been mostly dominated by particular sets of people. This is a shared reality. And so I must ask you the question, Grenada, from whom and from where should the people of Grenada draw this hope? Do you look then to the current leaders, the leaders that you have come to know too well? Do you look to a system which has not worked for the great majority of the people of Grenada? My friends, in these times of turmoil, of uncertainty, of upheaval, do you simply turn and hold fast to a system that has not progressed you, that has not progressed your families, your communities, the country? Do you hold on to a largely two-party system whose currency is one of polarization and division? For me, it is quite simple. And so you must permit me some latitude, because I cannot escape drawing the parallel between our celebrations of Emancipation Day and of this historic event. I do not know that whether this was in the consciousness of the TJM organizers when they selected this day as the launch date for their party. But I find this day and this moment rather poetic, rather instructive, because back then we understood that we served an imperialistic, brutal, extractive system that was based on exploitation. We could see that clearly. We understood its racist and its economic underpinnings. Back then, we were, as a people, kept hostage, restrained and contained within a system which gave us no freedom, no rights. The plantation system existed on the premise of divide and rule. There was a system of ranking, and slave masters knew early the value of assigning privilege and favor and access to a few to keep them complicit in the oppression of their own people. Our enslavers knew that a plantation where the slaves were united, where the slaves understood faith, were wedded to each other, where they appreciated that the power held by the master was minuscule compared to the power that they held as a unit, that if this type of conscious awareness was allowed to grow, that plantation could no longer stand. That plantation system would fall. And so, yes, master did some things. They would say that they did enough. They gave just enough food, just enough clothing, just enough of a living condition for you to survive. And the masters provided just enough education so that the enslaved were able to serve the system while being completely dependent upon it. There was a deliberate underdevelopment of social systems, my people. And former ensured that you come to them for everything. It is they who apportioned rights. They apportioned responsibility. They apportioned resources. That system was effective. It was so effective that when the enlightened slaves spoke about freedom, spoke about another way, there were many who saw them as traitors, as nothing but disruptors, as being ungrateful. That plantation system was so effective that the slaves defended their captors and cursed those who would free them from captivity. Now, let me state clearly that there is no equal to the level of dehumanization and brutalization that our forefathers faced. I am not saying that. But the lessons are there for us to learn. And it is important that we notice historical trends. It is important that we notice and reject patterns that would serve to stymie our advancement as a people, your advancement as Grenadians. So the reality is, and the comparison is real, that today across our region, many working class families are in fact kept contained and restrained and hostage to lives of depravity, to lack and to want. Still today, wealth resides in only a few. The low wages of the masses are met by rising prices. And it is they who face the blunt reality that life is just quite simply hard. Yes, I say that you ought to notice this new curated system of dependency that has now been orchestrated by our political overseers. Cronyism and nepotism are real tools which feed that skewed distribution of government resources, which now allows our politicians to decide who will be the privileged house slaves. Today we call them the oligarchs. My friends, the divide and rule polarity of our system is even more heightened today. I believe that. We are more divided today. Political tribalism is real. In our small societies, you are identified by what party you support. The way you decide and discuss an issue depends on what party you support. The right and wrong, truth is now decided by what party you support. And so the shared vision, shared interests, shared values has diminished greatly in our post-independence experience. Today, the comparisons continue because today there are many who bemoan the education system. They say that it seems to be engineered only to respond to the monocrop service industries of our countries. That purpose-driven education, which embellishes and advances individual skills and talents, appear to be de-emphasized. The truth is, my friends, that there has been no real disruptive adjustments to the education system post-independence. I heard it tonight, and I will repeat it, that it is Bob Marley who said that we ought to emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. Today, we see the rights and freedoms of workers being reversed unilaterally by the political powers that be. In the blink of an eye, trade unionists are witnessing the dismantling of rights, decades of struggle. The violence visited upon the working class in the middle of a protracted global pandemic where people have suffered immensely, I believe serves to instruct us all that this political system is broken. The underdevelopment of our societies and the increasing levels of poverty are predicted to get worse. I say that this instructs us that the political system is broken. It instructs us, it should compel us to move. If we continue to accept and to reinforce this political culture, then I say that we have not really taken this baton of emancipation and liberation handed to us truly, and we would not have truly run with it. Or are we saying that we have run into a brick wall? And so what will we do, people of Grenada, the region, but tear that wall down? My people, poor governance today is harmful to generations to come if we accept it. Where would we be if our forefathers did not rebel against the oppressive system of their time? But I do believe that I am speaking to the right people. The Grenadian people have in fact demonstrated the capacity for change. You are a people who not so long ago embraced and fought for the revolutionary ideas of people-led development, of forging a more equitable and cohesive society. And it is you, the great people of Grenada, who gave our region the New Jewel movement of Maurice Bishop. Growth, change, and hope are in your DNA. So my friends, I dare you, I say to you that it is time for a second progressive movement in Grenada, and I dare say in the region. And so what do you do? What do you do? You take that hope and you create and support a multi-party system where you have real choice, my people, where you have a real say. You democratize the political space itself, and it is then that you shall have real and true democracy. Today, up and down this region, our people need leaders who are true crusaders for the people in a perverted system. We need transformational leadership at this time. We need leaders who come to this with the intention to disrupt this failed system. You do not need leaders who work only to guard and to protect a broken system and themselves. It is time to uproot and to replace the vestiges of the plantation system. I believe that the people of Grenada are well suited for this quest, for this social and political economic quest. And so this evening, I say again, congratulations, TGM. You have delivered another significant day in the Grenada story. I embrace it as a great day in the history of the Caribbean. Congratulations to all your leaders, to Dr. Patrick Antoine, to all your supporters and members. We know that there are some who would call you anarchists, who would see the movement as being bad for the political process. We know them. They are like the slaves who fight for their masters and who resist the freedom they are given. We love them anyway. So TGM, do your best to serve your people the way they ought to be served, and take pleasure in dismantling and disrupting the political system that has failed them. Best to you and the Grenada people, today and always. Thank you.
Visit us online at dnaab.com to learn more.